Ever since I was a kid, a question that keeps popping in my head was, why can't the boys do it? But I can. I kept questioning gender-based assumptions ever since I was a kid. When I was in elementary, I got bullied and was outcasted just because of how I acted. My action and interests were too boyish. I started to question how I should have acted. Would things be different if I acted more girly? When I entered high school, I got teased because of how my body looked. I felt weird and violated. Sometimes, me and my girlfriends would walk on the street, yet random guys kept yelling and catcalling to us. It felt really disturbing. Some of my friends got sexually assaulted in public places. People look at them with lustful eyes, ogled at them, and even touched them shamelessly. I lost opportunities to prove myself just because of some stupid stereotypes and just because I was a girl. And yet I can do it. Some of my male friends got teased because they were hygienic, and it made them look less of a man. I witnessed how my his feelings. I saw on social media how girls are obliged to send intimate photos of themselves to their boyfriends just because they were in a relationship. Yet gender-based stereotypes kept existing in our communities. God has created man and woman as two separate beings, but that doesn't mean that women cannot do what men can do. Because despite the differences, all of us are equal in His eyes. Just because men are stronger doesn't mean they deserve more opportunities than women. Just because women are perceived to be weaker doesn't mean men cannot show their flaws. Every woman deserves the same treatment as men. They are worthy to feel strong and have the right to have the same opportunity as men. Men deserve to feel that they can be sensitive, that they can freely express what they feel. Because all of us are individuals that are different yet similar at the same time. What's scary is that gender bias is deeply rooted in our system, that sometimes we don't recognize how all of us unconsciously discriminate one's gender. How we assume that a task is better if it was done by a strong man. How we assume that the color pink is feminine. How we cringe if we see female bodybuilders on television. How we secretly judge two guys hugging, thinking that it is gay to do such thing. How we nonchalantly pass two girls holding hands like it was normal, yet we judge boys when they do it. The fact that we do relate to these statements actually prove that we don't look equally at both men and women. Take a look at school. As an educator, you stand in front of a class with 30 students. Each of those 30 students are unique and special with their own talents and abilities. You cannot assume that all the boys will have the same opinion, and you cannot assume that the girls will have a different opinion just because they differ in gender. Imagine that scenario in a larger scale, where women are denied equal access to health, education, and political and economic participation. This causes a country's economic development's downfall. As an educator, you can start change inside your classroom. Little by little, we can eliminate the injustice gender inequality brings. Look at those 30 individuals. Look at them and think that they will succeed in whatever they aspire to be. Cut mo muna. What I fight for is to give both men and women equal rights and opportunities. Yet I do not fight for gender equality. What we need is equity. Men and women will never be the same, but the rights given to them as human beings will not depend on whether they were born male or female. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, gender equity means fairness of treatment for men and women according to their respective needs. This may include equal treatment that is different, which is considered equivalent in terms of rights, benefits, obligations, and opportunities. This is where misconception between difference and equality and equity goes. To simply put it, equality focuses on creating the same starting line for everyone, wherein equity has the goal to provide everyone with full range of opportunities and benefits, which is the same finish line. We cannot assume that everybody has the same starting line. Some of us are old or young, and poor and rich. The fact that all of us are different proves that equality is much more efficient than equality. You see, when we say equality, it serves everybody the same benefits, ignoring the fact that everybody's situation is different and may have different needs, wherein equity serves everybody based on what they need. We must first ensure equity to enjoy the benefits of equality. Finishing the race, we may now all start at the same finish line. A line from Emma Watson's speech in the UN struck me. She said, "We don't often talk about men being imprisoned by gender stereotypes, but I can see that they are. And that when they are free, things will change for women as a natural consequence. If men don't have to be aggressive in order to be accepted, women won't feel compelled to be submissive. If men don't have to be controlled, women don't have to be controlled." And it made me realize that men who kept being imprisoned in gender stereotypes And it made me realize that men who kept being imprisoned in gender stereotypes are struggling too. On time, after school, before going home, my friends and I are exchanging hilarious banters. As Filipinos are dubbed as happy people, our goodbyes are often in the form of a joke. One of my boyfriends said, "Take care, you might get raped along the way." Then my other friend replied, "You too, you might get raped too." And we laughed hysterically. But later that day, I realized that gender oppression knows no gender. Boys can get raped too. The LGBTQIA+ community, heterosexuals, and asexuals all experience discrimination. So how can we protect their rights if we're just gonna focus on a particular group? How can a woman protect herself? Say example from a lesbian of the laws does not give that kind of protection. Because the laws kept focusing on males and females, where in fact, members of the LGBTQIA are humans as well, and they deserve what I deserve. Concluding this very long speech, which I wholeheartedly dreaded making, I want all of you to know that all of us are unique and we have our own color. Just trust yourself, and what we need is equity.